Have you ever wondered why some women stand firm in confidence and inner strength, while others live in quiet insecurity, constantly trying to please, searching endlessly for happiness, only to never find it? The secret does not lie in self-help books or routines. Carl Jung believed that confidence and happiness do not come from what women add to themselves, but from what they dare to confront and reclaim on their journey toward inner wholeness. If you feel exhausted from playing roles, if you long to live shaped by your own truth, then this is for you, because you may discover a version of yourself that is confident and fulfilled in ways you have never imagined. A truly happy woman is not always positive or always in control. She has stopped running from the darker corners within herself. The shadow is the part of you that once was, before you learned to become acceptable. It is the anger you swallow when treated unfairly, the jealousy you deny, the need to be seen, hidden beneath "I don't need that." These parts do not disappear. They retreat deeper and surface through sudden reactions and patterns that repeat. Emily always believed she was calm and rational, but in close relationships, she erupted unpredictably. She blamed herself for being too sensitive. What she did not realize was that she had never allowed herself to feel or name her anger. Denied emotions accumulate. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." When you do not face your shadow, you are not in control. You are reacting according to old patterns. A happy woman is not one without a shadow, but one honest enough to look at it. When you recognize your shadow, you gain choice. You can feel anger without hurting others. You can acknowledge jealousy without being controlled. You are no longer driven by unconscious forces. There are moments when you realize you have grown used to responding appropriately, to the point that you no longer ask whether any of it is truly you. A happy woman has lived in a mask for a long time. She knows what it feels like to become agreeable, so she will not be abandoned, to adjust herself to fit each situation. And because she does this so well, it becomes harder to realize she is slowly disappearing from her own life. The persona is formed early, reinforced each time you were praised for being good, criticized for being difficult. Gradually, you believe it is who you are. But when you live to be accepted, you hand over authority to define who you are. Your worth depends on external reactions. A compliment makes you whole. A cold glance makes you doubt yourself. This confidence is not stable. Imagine a woman always described as easygoing. She never refuses, avoids conflict, is universally liked. But each time she says yes when she means no, a part of her feels betrayed. The danger is not that the persona makes you fake. It distances you from your genuine experience. You live by reflex. What should I say? How should I appear? The more you are liked, the more alone you feel, because no one knows the person behind the mask. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." A woman breaks the persona through a small act. She stops automatically agreeing. She pauses and listens to her real feelings. For the first time, she chooses rather than reacts. When you stop pleasing, some will be uncomfortable. Some will say you have changed, but acceptance gained at the cost of losing yourself is not love. It is compromise. Femininity is often reduced to gentleness and self-sacrifice, but when confined to that, it becomes a cage. Happy women reclaim femininity while establishing balance with clarity and decisiveness. Deep within every woman are two currents. One is soft, intuitive, connective. The other is clear, directed, analytical. True confidence lies not in choosing one, but in letting both exist without canceling each other out. Many women know how to love, but not how to remain themselves within love. They know how to care, yet feel uncertain saying no or protecting their own needs. Over time, they become exhausted in relationships they believed would nourish them. Others reject softness entirely, becoming strong but distant from their own feelings. Happy women listen to both, as if listening to two rhythms within the same piece of music. They feel deeply without being carried away. They act with clarity without becoming cold. Imagine a river. If there is only water and no banks, it spreads and loses direction. If there are only banks and no water, it becomes dry. When both exist together, the flow becomes strong and purposeful. Feminine energy is like water, fluid, soft, rich with feeling. The rational aspect is like the riverbank, holding the flow so it does not lose its way. When the two are in harmony, a woman is no longer pulled by emotion nor trapped in rigid control. The journey of becoming yourself almost always comes with loneliness. Not the loud kind where no one is around, but the quiet feeling of no longer fitting into old conversations, old relationships, the old version of yourself. Happy women do not rush to fill that space. They recognize it as necessary. Because when you live more truthfully, you no longer fit into connections built on who you pretended to be. Many confuse loneliness with abandonment. Abandonment carries a sense of lack, but loneliness in growth is different. It is like stepping into a quiet room after years of noise. At first, the silence feels uncomfortable, but if you do not rush to break it, you begin to hear what was drowned out, your real thoughts, real emotions, the questions you once avoided. Jung wrote, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you." When a woman does not understand herself, she feels alone, even in a crowd. But when she begins to listen inward, loneliness becomes a choice, a conscious pause, not a fear. Only when you can be alone without feeling empty can you enter relationships without losing yourself. If you need others to fill an inner void, you accept unhealthy relationships just to avoid loneliness. But when you become familiar with your own presence, your standards shift. You choose someone not because they are there, but because they align with who you are becoming. Loneliness is where uncomfortable truths surface. Without distraction, you see repeating patterns. Why are you drawn to the same kinds of people? Why is it hard to say no? These questions are necessary. Think of this like letting muddy water settle. When constantly stirred, everything remains unclear. But when you stop, the sediment sinks and the water becomes clearer. If you are walking through loneliness right now, the kind where you are simply becoming someone new, share it below. Sometimes naming where you are is how you see how far you have come. And if this resonated, subscribe. What we explore here is understanding that stays with you. Carl Jung believed the ultimate aim was not improvement, but wholeness. The process leading to that is called individuation, the journey of returning to oneself. Individuation is not about adding something new. It is about stripping away everything that does not truly belong to you. Borrowed beliefs, learned roles, layers created just to survive. It is facing your shadow and holding it as part of life itself. It is a descent inward where you face wounds, reconcile with the past, and learn to live with your whole being. Strength and vulnerability, reason and intuition, shadow and light. A woman who went through this journey said, "I lived as if I had been wearing a mask for 30 years. I always behaved in ways others expected. But when I began returning to the parts I once felt ashamed of, I realized I had not truly lived a single day. And from that moment, I could not go back." The process is not easy. You will feel lost, no longer belonging to the old world, yet not fully knowing who you are in the new one. Jung believed we cannot mature unless we confront the psychological inheritance we carry, the voices in our mind that are not ours but belong to our mother, society, borrowed morality. A woman on this path gradually separates from these voices, not to reject them, but to recognize what is truly hers. When you change, you force others to confront themselves, and not everyone is ready. A woman who begins to say no, who creates distance in relationships that once seemed fine, who no longer tries to please everyone, she is simply no longer performing. Yet that makes others uncomfortable. What they are really saying is, "I am uncomfortable now that you are no longer someone I can control." As a woman moves deeper, she begins to see the world differently. What once seemed fixed, career, marriage, status, can fall away without shaking her. Not because she does not value them, but because she is no longer defined by them. She builds a different value system where loyalty to herself matters more than loyalty to any role. This freedom is quiet, like someone standing without fear because she finally knows who she is. From that place, she becomes unshakable, not because she does not feel pain, but because she no longer runs from it. The secret of happy, confident women does not lie in becoming better than others, but in no longer abandoning themselves. They stop chasing validation and return to who they truly are. Happiness is no longer something to achieve. It becomes a natural state, like the way they walk through life without doubting themselves. For the first time, they are truly living with everything that arises from within. Which of these 5 secrets are you walking through right now? Name it in the comments, because sometimes naming where you are is the first step in owning who you are becoming. And if this reached something real, subscribe. What we build here is not entertainment. It is clarity that changes what you do next.